Hello and welcome to the Confusion Wrestling Podcast, the last bastion of independent wrestling. I'm your host, Rob Kammer, and this week on the show, we have professional wrestler Maurice. All one word, all caps. He's coming up on the show today. By the time this episode comes out, the entire list will be out, but Maurice, this is almost breaking news by the time Maurice hopped on the show, but Maurice is now a 5-time member of the QWI 200, ranking of the top 200 wrestlers who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. So of course we had to talk about that. Amongst, the rest of his entire career. It was really cool to talk to him, really easy to talk to, a lot of fun just to sit down and just shoot the BS with him. So, of course, we are going to get our cheap plugs and all that stuff out of the way first. And when we come back, we'll be sitting down with Maurice. Hey, folks. The Confusion Wrestling Podcast has become a veritable hub of shopping and treats and all that sort of good stuff. Whether you need a sugar-free alternative to energy drinks in the form of Raise Energy, or maybe even, top-of-the-line ice makers, coffee machines, and other household appliances, all through my links section. All you got to do is wander down to the descriptor of this week's episode, check out the various links, click on them, and go shopping like you normally would. Heck, it's no difference. You just came in and just said Rob sent you. And that way, you can get the things you need, maybe even at a discount, and the podcast gets a kickback as well. So be sure to check out those links. Thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, the Confusion Wrestling Podcast. With me in the studio today, as I said at the top of the show, very special guest, standout on the Midwestern scene. And we'll talk about this momentarily, but just, hot off the presses yesterday, member of the QWI 200. He is Maurice. Maurice, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right, considering that we live in the Midwest and it is now 0. Last I checked, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is in your specific neck of the woods.
It's very cold. It's about 0. Yeah.
Yeah, not even counting the wind chill. But I'll go to the stock questions in a little bit. But since it came out yesterday, let's kind of talk about the QWI 200. This is your second year in a row.
No, it's
if I'm not mistaken. Is it?
It's like fifth
Was
year.
it fifth? Is it really?
Yeah, I've been on it since 21.
Oh, that is crazy. Go nuts. I'm sorry that I didn't do my due diligence of research. Blue Sky has failed me.
Oh, no worries.
But with the new list coming out, especially now there's 5 years in a row, what does that mean to you just to be put in that sort of company?
It means a lot. It's acknowledgement. There's more and more wrestlers coming out and being their real selves. And a lot of them are really good wrestlers, and a lot of them deserve to be ranked. I've been lucky enough to be on the last 5 years. And I've never been one who complains about, I've seen people complain about their number, where they ranked, or if they were on the list at all, which, I think is just silly, because it's a great list to be part of, but at the same time, it's still a list where it's okay, well, you didn't make it this year. There's your goal for next year. Look at it like that. Look at it as a challenge, but everyone wants to cry and moan, but it just says what it is. I've never been like that. If I was left off this year, I'd be like, all right, cool. At least my friends were on it, because I've already seen people I already know and have worked with on theirs as they're releasing the list each day and such. So again, it's an honor to be on there again, and hope to keep climbing the ranks. The best I've gotten was number 80, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Pretty much it's a step backward, but at the same time, like I said, it's we got a new goal we can work towards and climbing the ranks.
Well, and the talent pool, as you referenced, has gotten, deeper in general, just because there is greater representation within the LGBTQIA plus community in there, especially for folks we'll say me, who try not to delve too much into the personal lives of the wrestlers. And so I've looked at the list, I'm like, hey, that guy,
You
I didn't
recognize
know
him, right?
I didn't know he was, whatever. Like I've talked to him, I've done whatever. But again, it's not my business what you do when you're not in the ring. So
Sure.
it's but so I just like that's really cool. Like that that representation's in there, and just the fact that things continue to grow and people are allowed to be open and who they are in and out of the
Absolutely.
ring, especially like now we are seeing like the increase. I don't want to call them pride shows necessarily, but but we also
Yeah.
have like Effie's Big Gay Brunch, who's been a staple of the collective for that of like 5-6 years as well, and he's putting on multiple shows a year
Yeah. That's
featuring the talent.
that's the one everybody wants to get on, and I was lucky enough to be on it twice. With in 22 and 23. I was Moondog Murray at the time. I like to bring Maurice to it one day, but at the same time I had my two shots. So it's like again, there's so many people out there that are just as talented, if not more talented, that deserve to be on that for one reason or another weren't able to get on. So I'm not gonna cry and moan about something I don't have, which it was something that I've already had. But it would be nice to go back. Absolutely.
Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, just because it is. I mean, if nothing else, it is probably one of the larger platforms in independent
Oh
wrestling.
yeah.
I mean, with GCW alone, but adding the mix, what Effie's what Effie is doing for the community,
Mhm.
regardless of what people think or try not to think about him. Um, but so you were on in some of the earlier shows. Like, what was that experience like for you?
I was the first time was by chance. I was with Mateo Valentine and Joey Mayberry. They were booked for the show. I rode with them and helped around, helped the setup and such. Saw Brett Lauderdale. Said hi. I'm here with so and so. Love here to help with whatever. I'm sure Brett heard that 50 times that weekend. So he goes, hey, yeah, go ahead, work out chairs. Okay, all right, sounds good. Effie pulls up. I call up to Effie, give him the same spiel, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "You got your gear?" And I was like, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, I might use you." I'm like, all right. And like on the inside, I was screaming, but like I was trying so hard to be stoic and be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds fun. But on the inside, I was freaking out. Uh, got to do like a scramble match, which was cool. Like Aaron Rourke was in that, and obviously Aaron Rourke right now, WID and Evolve. Like I'm so happy for him, and I hope he keeps busting his ass. I uh, I broke a rule of mine where like it's not like I get too much hate in my mentions or anything like that, like online. But even if I did, I usually laugh at it because it's like, who takes the time another day to say these things? But like, I was looking at the replies of like they put out this package with where like Aaron Rourke's talking and like there's people in the replies comparing him to like Goldust and stuff. I'm like, man, it's like don't do him dirty like that. Not that Goldust wasn't great, he was, he still is. Dustin Rhodes amazing. But like that's not what Aaron's going for. He's not trying to be Goldust.
I guess that's a very like odd comparison. Like the only thing I could think of that like I would compare it is that they both wear some face paint, and even
It's his
then,
early stuff. His early
so
like Goldust like mid '90s stuff was very homoerotic,
yeah.
and it was very much it was done to get heat, and which was common back in the day. But thankfully, we've a lot of times like grown a lot past that, and like every now and again, there's someone who tries to do a character like that who's a straight guy, and it's like, come on, man, like it's a different time. You can't be doing those gimmicks anymore. And even then, it's like you're trying to get heat, right? Okay, well, the crowd's really uncomfortable because like even if they want to say these things to you, they're thinking to themselves, "There's phones everywhere. I don't want to get in trouble."
You don't want to be that guy. Like,
Exactly. So it's like
and
anybody that does gimmicks like that is silly. But like Aaron is Aaron. That's him. So like I hated seeing those in the replies, but at the same time, I'm sure he's got it. He's good. He's fine.
I
He'll be
mean,
fine.
I haven't seen said replies, but I'm just going to say because it's the internet, he's probably seen worse. Like,
Exactly.
it is hard to be the number one worst reply or comment in any sort of thread on the internet nowadays.
Oh yeah.
But but that's especially awesome just to kind of be able to have that platform. So you said like 2022, that'd been pretty
Yeah.
early in your career, so that
That
had
was like
been
I was like
huge.
a year and a half by that point, yeah, and I had like no moveset. I was bare bones, and thankfully everybody in the match was cool. So they're like, yeah, no worries. And then like they plugged in what I could do, where they were able to. Mike Bailey helped put it together, which was cool. Uh, Ever since I became a huge Mike Bailey fan from then on, because he's just one of the nicest guys ever. Nice person ever. Um, what else? Oh, and then the year after, it was pretty much that I was asked to do. That I got messaged for because it was a Team Midwest versus Team Northeast. I wish they would have just called it like Chicago versus New York or something, because that's pretty much what it was. But because it was just like at the time we were all at CSW Academy, so it was just CSW Academy versus oh gosh, what's their school called? But they were all from the same training academy. Obviously, like we can't really call them by their training academy names, but I thought it was a fun opportunity. I remember not. I was doing the cactus line at the time, and I remember not getting him over Logan. I remember not getting Logan over the rope because like I didn't have enough momentum. Now, of course, like I know how to get him over, get the person over the rope, and I still kick myself in the butt about it. But it's like, man, it was years ago. Who cares? you know.
I mean, that's the point of those multi-man matches, regardless if it's tag or scramble. Like it's
And I looked up the reviews too for the show just because I was curious, and pretty much all the reviews for our match was common or what you'd expect out of an 8-man tag, just calamity and such. I was like, all right, I can live with that because because me being the overanalyzer that I am of my own stuff, I've been like, I don't know, and then like reading the reviews and then everybody else talking to me about it, like, oh, okay, so it's fine. And then I watched it back. It's like, yeah, what we did was fine.
Well, so something like that, like that's not a huge. It's not like it was Merrick Brave and shooting star pressed yourself onto the top rope or anything like that. So like, there are a world of embarrassing botches and cactus clothesline as long as you didn't like actually hurt yourself or your opponent.
Right, and then when we didn't go over the top rope, we both kind of just went under the bottom. So it was like boom, and then we just rolled under. So I still got Logan, but like it just wasn't how it was supposed to go.
But that is awesome, and so just in general, since it's so new, I just wanted to start the party with that. And congratulations for making the list once again. And
Thank you.
hopefully you'll be a fixture for it, or actually even better, maybe they'll turn it into their own 500 like the regular indie stuff for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. But
I mean, you could, but at the same time, I feel like keeping it at 200, like, again, it makes you. I'm a very goal oriented person, so like, if I didn't make the 200 out of like the however many hundred people they consider, again, that's like a goal for me where it's like, okay, I can work towards that. So like, because like, I'm not one of those like people that are like, oh, everyone gets a trophy. I'm not one of those people, but like, it's cool to have a goal. And I think that's a really big goal because, like, oh, I made it this year. Cool. Okay, I made it this number. Okay, let's make it to the next year's list and see if we can go up and such.
That's fair. I mean, in goal setting is, I mean, especially when I don't know. In your case, you're still relatively young into your career. Like you got
in wrestling,
goals. It's just it's something you need. I'm just trying to pipe dream of better inclusion and whatnot. But like I don't know, people find a way to poop all over the PWI 500 too, or
oh sure,
whatever. So
like I said, these rankings, someone complains about their numbers, someone complains they're not on the list, and it's like, instead of complaining, how about you start grinding?
Well, and I also like logically, like even like when I do my terrible little list thingies, which I try to do in no particular order, just in general, just like, hey, here's X folks. Like my bias towards things, are inherent. So like I'm going to rank, like for me, with like for a lot of stuff, I would rank the Midwest scene more so than say like the Southwest, because I don't know squat about the Southwest wrestling scene comparatively speaking. Whereas like I have my eyes on various places in the Midwest, even some of the smaller places, whether it's Central Empire Wrestling, Chicago Style Wrestling, SCW Pro, Dreamwave, Zawa, which you just wrestled at last night. But I guess since I'm going to bring up Zawa, you've been at Zawa a couple times, but last night was kind of notable because you got to be with Jake the Snake Roberts. Have you got to be on the same show with him before?
No, first time. That's why I wanted it on the show, because I did the summer shows with Zawa, and since then Zish would hit me up like last minute, like, hey, can you make it to this Saturday? And I'd be like, I can't. But I saw him announce in advance the Jake show, and I texted him like, "Hey, I got that date open if you'd have me." He goes, "Yeah, I'll let you know." And then like I think a minute later, he goes, "Yeah, you're on the show." I was like, "Okay, cool." So just let me know because like I like working Zawa. It's a fun show. Crowd's great, and it's a great crew people. And it's funny they played a video package at the show of Zawa from the past year, and like I didn't realize how many people I knew went through there, like Davina and
Mhm.
Inestra and Pescadita, and I was like, I didn't realize like they all had at least like a show or two there. But like that's what's cool about Zawa. Like it's a cool like pretty much just like that's the perfect kind of place to really like try new stuff in front of a really good audience and see what works and such, and then you can bring it to the rest of your act, or you could just keep trying new stuff at Zawa and such. Like Zawa's great for that. Pow's great for that. Ultimate Combat Gauntlet's great for that, especially UCG because like UCG is like practically CSW's new academy promotion. Because for years it was Northland and All Heel, but all that pretty much turned into UCG being that showcase for the students or a place for students to get reps.
Oh, and that's actually like really awesome because like that's one of the things I watch here, and I've said it 5,000 times. But if you're a new listener, I am based out of the Quad Cities, Iowa,
Mm,
Illinois, home of the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, and
mm.
SCW Pro is attached to it. And there's so many graduates like come through there, but
Yeah,
SCW only has so many spots on their
exactly.
show, so like people have to go somewhere, and SCW is not big enough to have like a real sister promotion, but like still like it'd be great to have something like almost built in, so like the students didn't have to like, oh, I gotta go to Wisconsin now to get my reps in from
Yeah.
here and travel. Not that they're not going to have to travel eventually anyway, but in that I feel like in that first year or so, just getting the reps in, like
Oh
you
yeah,
may be able to beat the road life any
get
day.
a get those reps in regardless. Even if you do get a shot at Wisconsin, go to Wisconsin because like that's where I learned the hard way about every audience is different. Because like I try to do what I would do in Chicago all the time to Milwaukee, and I got met with crickets. So that was and that's when I learned you need to start reading the crowd on your way to the ring. Try something. If they're not responding, okay, move on to the next thing, or try something else, or just all right, they're not buying anything, just to the match we go. Um, so like anytime you get a chance to go out of state or in front of a different type of crowd, do it because like you'll learn how if you can work every crowd or work most crowds, you'll be that's what people are looking for. People who can adapt to whatever crowd they're working in front of.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, just in general, I mean, it goes for any supportive entertainment, but like, there's so many different avenues and venues for professional wrestling for the crowds to really be like diversify themselves and I mean by like casual fans of that specific product, or just like, hey, it was free. Here I
Mm.
am. Which actually I love those shows because the crowd is just nuts for
Oh
usually
yeah,
when it happens. Those
absolutely.
fair I don't want to call them some of them sometimes carnival, but fair shows are usually
Yeah,
like crazy go nuts, and I love the dichotomy of like the crowds compared to what you normally see in your high school gym or rec center or wherever.
absolutely.
Um, um, but yeah, so get the reps and go wherever, and just one of my little like stock questions I ask everyone since we talked about hitting the road. How many states have you wrestled in so far?
Um, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Missouri, Wisconsin, North Carolina, California, Texas, Iowa. So I think nine or 10. Those are off the top of my head. I'm probably missing a state, but yeah,
That's a solid run, fifth of the way there.
yeah,
Any
about 360 matches I think last I
Oh,
checked.
nice. Oh, nice. Any states that are, I mean, okay, every wrestler is like, I want to do all 50, but are there specific states that are a bucket list item for you that you'd be like, it'd be really cool if I got to work Rhode Island or whatever?
New York, Florida especially, Tennessee, um, North Carolina was a big one. That was really cool to do. Tennessee, Florida, New York, probably Pennsylvania. those are the big ones, I think. Oh, and Washington. I was gonna say I think there's like the West Coast somewhere. Yeah, Washington. I think country wise, obviously Canada, Mexico, Japan, anywhere in Europe. Like just be able to say I left the country to wrestle. I mean,
Oh yeah.
shoot.
And wrestling's so huge. I've had Landon Hale on the show. It's probably been about 2 years now, but he's just like, I just randomly got a gig in Thailand. It was crazy, go nuts, but I went, and it's like, I didn't know there was a wrestling scene there. He's like, I didn't either, but I went. It was super cool to go, just
I
because you
bet.
don't think of that with wrestling. The crowd was ravenous because they evidently don't get wrestling there in person, and it was fun. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I imagine.
so like that's sweet. Crazy, go nuts. Um, but we talk international and kind of like continuous segue into things. But you've been a frequent visitor to Galli Lucha Libre. How's that experience been for you?
I've been there about 2 years now. They were one of the first places to let me become Maurice because I was Moondog there, and then I made the switch to Maurice. I asked Carlos if I could do it. He said sure, and I did it. And thanks to him and like places like, well, obviously ICW Milwaukee, which that's where the character came from. ICW and 01 USA did a show with me as Maurice. I'm trying to think other places. I was Maurice early on, but Wrestle League and such. Like me getting to do that 6 months with them as Maurice and like getting the footage out and the pictures and all that and showing pretty much proof of concept what Maurice is. That's when everybody else who was really like, oh well, we want Moondog, that kind of deal. Like they saw that Maurice works and they're like, okay, we could work with it. And really the holdouts were just POW second and I guess PWE down in Missouri, but so far second and POW brought me back as Maurice. Still holding out hope, PWE, but I know Lenny really loved me as Moondog for the couple shows I've done. But it just is what it is. Pretty much what I had to do is I just had to put my foot down, and be like, I'm not being Moondog anymore. Because like the last Moondog match I did, last couple, I did some up in Wisconsin for Frontline. I did a couple second shows as Moondog. But I pretty much just I told Pow in second, like, listen, I can't be Moondog anymore. It's Maurice. I get if you don't want to book Maurice, you don't have to. Maybe down the road we can work together. And be like, all right, well, let's see if we can make it work. And sure enough, here I am still there, still being regularly booked at second and Pow.
I think it's just due to, at least in the state of Illinois, I think it's state law that there has to be at least one Moondog running around. And
Sure.
I know Moondog Bernard is, I don't know, quasi-retired or cut super way back, so he's just doing it like once every 3 months or so. So maybe it's just the old you're the last Moondog and people are trying to hold on to that.
And a lot of these promoters are old timers, so like they grew up seeing Moondog in the '80s, like the Moondog spot and Rex and such. Or there's some who are like wrestling historians, and they know of Moondog Maine and the Moondogs in Memphis and such. But like it was time to grow out of it and move on, and it was such a drastic turn with the Maurice thing that like it worked, and people were like, "Whoa," turned heads and eyes got wide, and they're like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then it worked. Even the ones who still wish I was Moondog again were like, "Yeah, but I wish you were still him." But at the same time, no, this is good. I'm like, well, thank you.
Well, we got to follow the money, and if it's working and getting people going, then
it's getting me booked. It's getting me booked places. So
that's the important part. So was there a specific, I don't know, just moment where you just decided like the Moondog wasn't it anymore, or was it just general fatigue of working the character?
I think it was general fatigue. I remember when I left CSW in like May of 2024, I think. Anyway, I thought I hit the ceiling at CSW, but like really I hit the ceiling in wrestling as Moondog, because like I got to the point towards the end of Moondog where like, okay, I'm only being brought in to put over the big bad guy of the promotion, or they don't want to run. They don't want to run with it because like the character has a ceiling and the character can only go so far. And I was thinking that at the time. I was like, we gotta figure something out, because all I was doing was changing the look, and like the last Moondog look was just not. It was so far from Moondog. I might as well just change my name, which I ended up doing. But I hit up Dysfunction and asked if I could come up for ICW and get a work up there because I wanted more Milwaukee work, the Milwaukee scene. And he said, yeah, come on up. Week of, he hits me up. He goes, hey, you gotta. He's like a whole. This can be like he's one of those like one word answer kind of messages, but then when he gets excited, he's like, it's like a spam or like a paragraph. And he was like, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. That's like, he asked if I had a Blazer, this and the other. You ever heard of Diesel, or you ever watch Diesel? You ever watch Big Bubba Rogers? Like, yeah, I've seen all that. And I said, good, you're gonna be that. I was like, okay. So I pulled up, and he called me MD Maurice, Moondog Maurice. But like, I was like, I was like, we gotta cut MD. We don't need that. Like, it's Maurice, just simple Maurice. You know, it worked. It rolls off the tongue. And when I first stepped out as Maurice, I got the people who recognized me like, wait a minute, that's Moondog. Then when I posted the picture, it blew up on Facebook. It blew up for my standards, but like it blew up. And a lot of wrestlers in the comments going, whoa, and even fans going, whoa, what is that? So I knew, I was like, this is the gimmick. And I pretty much dove headfirst into it, and here I am as Maurice, and Moondog is no more. I still got old Moondog gear, and I still got the Moondog boots, but they're all put up in a box now. It's just Maurice.
Well, I'm glad to see that, or at least to hear that people despite being Maurice, people recognize you as Moondog and didn't just poop all over it, because that's the famous story with Randy Colley, that he was originally going to be Demolition Smash, and everyone just started like screaming Moondog at him, and like,
oh yeah,
Vince just went, nope, no more Demolition for you. And
yeah. I still get people screaming Moondog at me, but like I use it and twist it like it's a heat thing now, because like they want it, but I'm not giving it to them. Or like I'll just like I don't want to hear anybody chant Moondog. Then the whole building starts chanting Moondog. So now I just made it a part of the act where people know, oh, that annoys them, so let's keep chanting it. And thankfully, like everybody sees that, and they see what I'm doing. They're like, okay, everybody being like wrestlers, promoters, like, that's smart, good on him.
Yeah, I love that. Like I'm a huge Tracy Smothers mark. And he do that like all the time. I swear to God, if I hear Tracy sucks one more time. And then the funny thing is like no one was actually saying Tracy sucks.
Like, right, it's a reverse psychology deal.
But as soon as he said, if I hear if I hear one more person say it, then all of a sudden, the crowd is on everybody. It. And despite the threats of ultra mega mass homicide, everybody's straight up dying. But I guess everybody he didn't fall through with it. But evidently he didn't fall through that on that, because I'd seen him a bunch of times, and I'm still here for some odd reason. But no, I love it. But I definitely I think, I mean, from what I've seen, there's a bigger ceiling for Maurice, and like, might I say, like some of the pictures just look so freaking cool. Like I got this aura about them. I'm just like, because it's one of those like little things is like wasn't familiar, not that I'm like super familiar or followed you around everywhere, but like going through my limited research and like looking at people that I'm like, who would be cool to have on the show. I'm just like, that guy, like that is like model headshot kind of thing right there. And
thank you.
And like, which then blew my mind, like later on when I'm like finding out, like I've heard you talk about channeling like Diesel and Big Bubba Rogers, and I'm like, that is about as like me thinking like Magic Headshot and Big Bubba Rogers are like,
it clicks, right?
Are like two like actually two opposite things for me, but like either way, like it caught my attention, that and then your random Instagram posts of just insults. Like I think that was hilarious. Like
I was like just trying to think, what can I do, something different, like be more like, so like I was like, how can I jump in, like the short, these days everything's shorts, everything's clips, everything's like TikTok and Instagram and all that. I was like, well, how can I use Maurice to do that? And then that popped in my head. What if I just insulted the camera for like a minute? So I started just rattling off random stuff, edited it all together to like under 60 seconds, posted it, and I had a couple people text me going, you need to keep making those. Keep making those, please. So I'm making those, and I got other ideas. of the insult videos. But like, yeah, I definitely want to try doing a little more like videos, highlights, and just get more out there. Because like these days, like with social media, it's so important, especially if you're a pro wrestler trying to get noticed. You got to be really social media conscious. And I'm constantly posting, constantly sharing, constantly doing whatever I can. And it's funny, actually, had a promoter hit me up and he goes, "I appreciate you." I was like, "Why?" I was like, he goes, "Because I always see you share flyers. I always see you post promos. I always see you do this." That goes a long way because like it's hard getting people to just do that, which blows my mind because I'm thinking like, don't you want people to come to the show? You know, don't you want people to see you? And like, there's a lot of things I realized that like I thought in my mind would just be like a given, but it's like pulling teeth sometimes with some people, and it's like all you gotta do is share a flyer. All you gotta do is post the flyer. All you gotta do is say, "Hey, come see me fight this guy at such and such in so and so on this date." How hard is that? But apparently, it's just too much for people. But like for me, it's fun. It's part of the game. And here's the thing: content. I'm very content driven. I want content for my stuff for people to watch, follow, and enjoy. So it's like easy content right there. You're pleasing the promoter. You're telling your fans what you're doing, and you got content on your stuff. Like, why don't people? I don't understand. It's one of those big things I gotta scratch my head on. I'm like, I don't get why it's so difficult for some people.
I mean, yeah, it's I mean, one of the reasons, like, as I pull back the curtain and I talk to people, like, okay, like, here, like, like, even with you before we got on, like, hey, I mean, this is what's going to happen. I will tag you in whatever,
Yeah,
if you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but like, at least a reinsert post or retweet or whatever
yeah,
they're calling it,
retweet or something.
like, it's free, takes 5 seconds, and you probably don't have to listen to me ever again unless you, for some odd reason, think I'm super cool. But like, but yeah, some like the fact that like some folks like don't like promote the shows that they're really on, like they just show
Yeah,
clips from
that's
matches, like it blows my mind because like I have like personally I have gone to shows that were, as long as they were within driving distance, like, oh shit, man, so and so is going to be there, and like
yeah,
now I'm making it a point to be there because I do enjoy that person's matches, and like I've never like either never heard of the company or the company was just doing a random show like within an hour away from me or like whatever. Like that's like I like anytime you can drive traffic to yourself in some way, shape, or form,
yeah.
like I
And
feel like that's should be a given, especially in an industry where you like it's very much a socially driven industry. It's
yes,
like for better or for worse, wrestling is not just you work hard, you get more money. Like wrestling is very much, knowing certain people or knowing more people and having a reputation with people and whatnot.
networking. Yeah,
Like it's more social than anything else, for better or for worse. And like some of that stuff is like really simple. Like even if you don't want to cut a promo, like why wouldn't you at least share a flyer and be like, hey, this Friday I'm gonna go kick Jake Chris's ass.
mm.
Like why wouldn't you at least do something simple like that?
I mean, hard work pays off. You just gotta show people your hard work. Like that way they can be like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And they see it like, "Oh, okay, cool. I might be interested in using them." You know.
And that's why, like, bringing it back to what you're doing, like that's why I like to like say like the insult videos, and not that that's been your entire personality online, but like that's something that to me made you stick out because
Yeah,
no one's like really doing just like we'll call them promos, but even though it's just insults for the most part, but like no one's really doing that, and so like
yeah, like
that's interesting, and like like, oh, that makes you stand out from like the 80 other indie guys who are just posting them, doing a drop kick or
yeah,
doing a power bomb or like what, just random match clips. Not saying match clips don't have their place, but like when
yeah,
everyone and their mothers, just doing match highlights as their social media reels, somebody actually like doing something different
yeah. And that's
stands
why
out even
like
more.
Ben Bishop and like Richard Holiday have been like they've been
Oh,
inspirations for my stuff too. Like because like they do goofy videos like that, whether and such.
but like yeah, and like another one that like I'll pop up there just because it kind of reminded me of his stuff, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with Evil Kip Stevens. Like
I'm not.
he doesn't do the full he doesn't stand there and just insult, but like he does seminars, and so like they're little like humorous clips where he promotes the show, he runs down his opponent, and like he's like in I'm still not entirely sure if it's a green screen or if he's actually at like the Creative Pro. I think it's Creative Pro where he hangs out with the most, but just stands up there and then like periodically he'll like point up and like there'll be a word over his head of like some joke of like whatever he's talking about. So like it'll start with word of the day, and then blah blah blah. He'll make he'll say a comment, and then like there'll be an extra joke above his head as well of whatever it is he was talking about. But like
Mm,
they're fun, and Kip is also a master of the put down, as I've learned the hard way. But again, it like to the point it stands out, and it just is something different. Which, I mean, in wrestling, like you got to stand out, and that's how you get bookings.
absolutely, absolutely.
But I didn't have a great segue for this, but I do want to touch back on Galli. As you said, you've been a regular for that, and I had Axel Rico on the show a handful of weeks ago, who's obviously a big part of that, in addition to the rest of the Chicago scene.
Yeah,
But we talked about how like I found it like by a poorly advertised event in Davenport, and it was like crazy that Lucha Libre was like coming our way, and then it's actually based out of Chicago, which blew my mind. But as we said, you've been you've been there for about 2 years, and like just after you agreed to do the show, like I was like doing some extra look, and then like you immediately was part of a Lucha de Apuesta and lost your hair.
yeah.
Like I've not really talked to anyone who's had like a proper Lucha de Apuesta experience, like putting a mask or in your case, hair on the line. So like, how did that come about, and like, what was that like just to have that, just to do that?
I pitched the idea. It was my idea. I was like, I asked Carlos because like I wanted to work with the Lucha guys more, and I suggested the match, and I suggested a name, but he said I don't want to do it with him. I'd rather do it with this guy, this guy, or this guy. I was like, okay, doesn't matter to me. It's just an idea. And then I immediately said, I was like, I'll let you shave my head. And he goes, and he'd keep reminding me, just so you know, you have to be bald. I was like, well, yeah, because like I always hated those hair matches where like they would get just a nice haircut
Looking
in
at
the
you,
end.
Jeff Jarrett.
Jarrett. Oh God, there's another guy that
Kevin
popped up.
Nash did that too when he lost hair versus
Yeah,
hair to
yeah.
Jericho, and he just basically got the haircut for Punisher.
He got yeah. I was about to say he was doing it for Punisher, but I was like, no, I was like, I'll be bald and I'll stay bald for like probably till the spring to sell it. But so he said sure, and the feud with Arrows started and started in the summer and then ended this past 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, I used to be a hairstylist too, so I brought in my clippers, my pro clippers and such. So we got to use those. It was a fun time, and I wanted it to be good, and I think it turned out pretty good. Crowd threw money in the ring, so the crowd
Oh
approved.
yeah.
That's a big thing in lucha, where like if they approve, they'll throw money because like money means the world to lucha fans. So like if they're willing to throw their hard-earned dollar at you, that's a big compliment. So the fact that we got money thrown in the ring was really cool. Um, so yeah, I pretty much shaved my head. He shaved the top of it. We took pictures, and then had Adam Stallion shave the rest of it off in the sink. And it's so now pretty much the new routine is the day before a show, like after like a week or two, like or after like 5 days or so, like I do my tan, or rather no, excuse me, I line up the beard and then I shave the head down again, and then I do my tan and such. But like it's nothing's more frustrating than you do the shave and you're feeling around. You got the mirrors, you got your phone, you got everything. Okay, I think I got every spot because like to get a haircut every couple days, that's like $20 at least. If you go to Great Clips, you're paying $20 to get a head shave. So it's like, well, I got to do this for free. And again, I also did hair. So, and what's so hard about shaving your own head? So nothing's frustrating. You do all that, right? You're feeling around. All right, everything feels good. You take a shower, rinse it off, get in bed. You do this, and then you feel a patch. You're like, like, where did that come from? So then you have to go in the bathroom, get it again, and then just hop back.
Except you
It's
can't
just
find it the second time. As someone who also does his own hair, which is why my head's mangled as it is, because I'm not like you. I'm not paying someone to buzz me. I,
right.
like if I was doing something real, with what's left of my hair, like that'd be fine. But I'm just buzzing it down, half inch or whatever.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not paying someone just to do a uniform. Well, hopefully uniform buzz, but yeah, no, like every time. And like for me, it's always like in the crown. Like that's like
Yes.
my
Back of the
and
head.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like I've gotten good enough that I don't have necessarily a whole patch, but there's always just like somehow like just one
Just one. It's
hair.
always just one.
And like and I'm like I gotta do this now, and then I lose it by the time I like wander off to go get the scissors, because the scissors are not in my office, which evidently I do this enough. Maybe I should have scissors. No, I shouldn't have scissors in my office. That's I have my coworker, aka my cat, with me, and she might get ideas to
Oh, sure.
use them. She's already got sharp things that she doesn't need scissors too. But like but Taylor back, like I think it's just like such a like kind of a crazy experience to have this like Lucha de Apuesta in the Midwest. And like, yes, Galli obviously is a Lucha Libre company first and foremost, but just the fact that you're like, when I think Lucha Libre, I don't always think like Chicago, Illinois, or whichever suburb it is, because I'm a terrible
It's
Illinois.
pretty much Chicagoland, yeah. Like he runs multiple venues, but like there's such a huge Hispanic community in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
it's perfect. Like major cities, like Lucha Libre in major cities makes sense because there's always a Hispanic population. It's been harder though because like obviously with the ice and stuff, but like it's harder to get it to draw what we used to, unless we get like a really big name from Mexico coming in. Then they come in. But for as of late, it's starting to get better. Starting, just hopefully nothing else happens. But I always appreciate. That's why I appreciate the Lucha fans even more now, because like the ones who are like willing to like, I'm gonna pull up anyway. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, and like that's the thing is like in the case of Galli, like Galli pulls in some crazy names. Like that was like one of the things, like as I said, like and I said extensively in the Axel Rico interviews, like they came to Davenport and it was advertised in a way that I thought it was a scam. It turns out there was like one or two posters for the event, and that was at like the venue complex, and all the other like stuff I could find was just on Facebook. Like I couldn't even find the event on Galli's website, because that's where like I went first. So I'm just like there's so many like fake ads on Facebook through the years where it's just like the Van Gogh experience, and they won't tell you where the Van Gogh experience is. It's just in Davenport, Iowa. I'm like, cool. Yeah. There's like 3 places that are like, could hold an event like that in Davenport. Like, now I'm going to call and see which one's legit, if any of them are. And like kind of, so I was like balking, and so like I'm trying to do my due diligence with Galli, and then like even like the venues, like they listed the venue, so I checked the venue, and even like the venue was not doing a good job. Like it's still like a scam, and I'm familiar with the venue. I've gone to the venue a handful of times for things, and just like everything was sketchy about it, but I'm like, whatever. And then I was seeing who like Galli had brought in the past, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
well, if I get scammed, I'm going to get scammed, I guess. But if I can also see, Macias and Psycho Clown, maybe, then I guess like I'll take the scamming with whatever happens. But
yeah, it's crazy the amount of shows. I think I've worked like 4 shows now with Psycho Clown in the main. It's one of the coolest guys too. It's like it's mind blowing. And then like he was supposed to come out, and then he had to pull out, and then they replaced it with Mr. Iguana, who was this is like right after the whole like explosion of his fandom. So I was like, wow, that's really cool to see him in person. Trying to think what else, but yeah, I get seeing these big names from Mexico. It's like, damn, that is the goal. And like Anestra's usually working them, or Axel Rico's usually working them, the OGs, so like that'd be, Hans Carden, that'd be cool to be a part of that group of trusted guys to work with these like names from Mexico.
Well, I was going to like ask then, do you get to train with the luchadores?
Yeah,
and like how different is that for someone who's trained in the pro stylings, I guess?
American
American style.
It's lucha style and American style. They Galli offers us training. It's just I only recently started going because pretty much I was told to go. So, admittedly, so I started going, and it's very different. It's very cardio heavy. It's very they're the way they like operate a match is a lot different from your average American style match. So you gotta learn that way, and you also gotta make it work with the way that you were already taught. So like be that kind of blend of it. But like being able to blend it all together, that's what made guys like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and pretty much like or Pentagon, Phoenix, like any like big lucha name or any big name from Mexico that made it to America, they had to learn how to be able to adapt. So Gringo Loco and all that. Same thing. So like if I can master it, I'm probably not going to be doing any of those flips, but I can be there to help the guy do his flips and do his spectacular stuff and be there right in the right spots in the right place for him to execute it without killing himself. Because like some of these, they're death defying for a reason. They're like they do a lot of crazy like stuff, and you got to be on your game to protect them, and they got to be on their game to protect you. Because it's a lot of moving parts. It's like I said, it's a different style. There's no like, there's not really much slowing it down and catching back up. No, it's go 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 go. So it's great conditioning in that way. But it's definitely it's definitely different from the average American style training.
Yeah, I'd heard specifically with RAs like that he kill like almost. I mean, not purposefully, but just his exercises alone just kill anybody who's not used to the not used to the we'll call it the lucha style to begin with, but he's the king of strange styles, so like he throws little extra kinks in there to really I don't I don't know if he's purposely trying to catch folks, just I don't know, with not great cardio or what, but just still
Possible.
it's just the fact that he's just like, okay, let's play horse, and like his version of horse is like doing I don't know, like some weird flip into the ring and then hitting the ropes and sliding out or something. I don't know, just making stuff up, but just something cardio heavy. But you got to follow that and tell somebody makes a mistake.
That works on memorization. That works on cardio. That works on timing and such. So like, there's a reason why he's doing it. It's not to do it because he's bored. There is a reason behind it, and it's a fun reason. Like if you're making it a game, like you're making it like the horse, like it's a fun way to do your exercises.
Edutainment is the term I usually use for things like that, where you're more likely to retain the information if you're entertained by it. But I've never, but by no stretch of the imagination is anyone going to mistake me for an athlete. So it is just weird nerd stuff that when I do it. But like that's sweet, and like having that opportunity to work firsthand and learn like a whole different style of wrestling is just I don't know amazing to me, and just I think it definitely offers you greater opportunities in the future, because like even the luchadores who aren't known for their flying like got where they are because they're also like excellent bases. Like yes, like Hechicero can fly, but dude's catching people. Mortos, again, he can fly, but he's better. He's much better at the kind of like the power lucha, or even like to a lesser extent, let's say like Claudio Castagnoli, who is no one's going to mistake for a luchador, but
He
like
could just do it all. Yeah.
but he can throw a luchador around in the way a luchador is accustomed to being thrown around. Of course, it helps that he was also trained in a lucha heavy style, coming up through the Chikara ranks as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like Skyday trained was the head of the Chikara. Training.
So Skyda, and then of course Quackenbush as a heavy hand of like the junior style and Lucha Libre as well, and both those styles kind of go hand in hand in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so like I don't know, make if you can be a utility player, like you're good anywhere on the card ultimately.
Oh yeah,
and even if your job's just to catch someone and throw them around, that's a job. That's more than some people are getting. But All right. As I said, kind of before we got in the air, go ahead and wind things down, even though there's a whole bunch of things to talk about. But you've been busy this weekend, and I'm not even sure how you're awake right now, to be quite honest. Knowing approximate distances of certain things, like and the weather, like I don't
Oh
know,
yeah,
like I don't know how good the roads were. Going to Nelson, Illinois, from wherever it is you're coming from. I heard the interstate was peachy, but I don't trust. I don't know. Like as a person who come from small town Illinois, sometimes the issue is getting out of your driveway and getting to the interstate is the real is the real problem. Um, but that being said, we'll go ahead and wind things down. Where can we find you on social media? If there's any merch you need to plug,
yeah.
and where can we find you in the next couple of weeks?
Oh yeah, you can like X, Instagram is Maurice_wrestle, Facebook Maurice Pro Wrestler, YouTube same thing Maurice_wrestle, and such. Show wise, really is we're looking forward to 2026. Like I got NRW up in Wisconsin, ICW and NRW. Got Second Wrestling, UCG, and Snake Farm, Galli, and Galli Snake Farm, and all them in Chicago. Then Social X in Iowa. So just bouncing around the Midwest as always, and looking for some cool stuff like following around the major promotions too, and helping out there. See, like get my foot in the door and get my face out there. Pretty much, just keep grinding and keep going. Until we can't do it anymore. Which so far, wheels haven't fallen off yet. So let's keep going.
Say, knock on wood, and dare I say, like at least compared to me, like you're a youngster,
Yeah.
so you got a couple more years, God willing.
Oh
But
yes, and then Brainbuster Tees is where you can find my shirts, Maurice. If you just search Maurice on Brainbuster Tees, I should pop up. That's where you can get some of my latest shirts, designs, and such. Some of them I don't have at shows because I've had people ask me, "Are you gonna have this shirt?" And I'm gonna say no. Here's the website you can order it off of. But yeah, definitely follow that and keep an eye on those shirts because like a lot of them, for the most part, I will like eventually bulk order some of them, but like not all of them.
So learned that one the hard way because I've been waiting for 3 years for a certain T-shirt to come back and it come back into another printing, and it just hasn't happened yet. But
Yeah,
he knows that like that he needs to contact me if it ever happens. But digressing, I will try to do my due diligence as podcast host to plug most if not all those social media links in the descriptor of this episode. So hopefully it's a one shop click farm to wherever it is people want to go to find you.
absolutely.
But Maurice, thank you for coming on. It is a pleasure, and just again, congratulations on the QWI front, and just keep killing it out in the Midwest, and hopefully we can see you expand those horizons in sooner than or later.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
The Confusion Wrestling Podcast is a weekly podcast that is written and performed by Rob Kammer and hosted by Spotify for podcasters. The background music for this section is Ruined by Day, performed by Alan Schroeder. If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to help support, please like, subscribe, and tell your friends, family, and enemies. Leaving a review is helpful as well, because word-of-mouth advertisement is very important for us small podcasts. My social media links can be found in the description, but Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky are at The Nova of Cass. That's TheNovaOfCass, and Facebook is MLW Confusion, all one word. If you'd like to support monetarily and help upgrade my equipment, please check out my virtual tip jar at ko-fi.com/Casanova, or if you prefer more bang for your buck, go to patreon.com/Casanova, that's CASSONOVA, where for as little as $2, backers get access to the podcast early and without those pesky ads, plus other exclusive content. So join the crew that is headed up by Keith Wynn, Alan Schroeder, Chris Zach, and Elenia, and check it out. You can also find t-shirts, coffee mugs, and other merch at the Confusion Podcast store on Teespring. Also, be sure to check out the affiliate links in the descriptor below. For business inquiries such as ads, sponsorships, and etc., please email rzkamer, Kamer, at comcast.net. Thank you all for listening.